What if I told you that earning more money could actually make you poorer? What if having two incomes doesn't protect you from financial stress, but quietly pushes you deeper into it? As a finance teacher and investment mentor, I've seen this mistake destroy more families than low salaries ever did. Most people believe that two incomes automatically mean financial security. On paper, it sounds logical. More money should equal more comfort, more savings, and more freedom. But real life doesn't work on paper, it works on behavior. As an investment and financial literacy teacher, I've spent years observing households with dual incomes. Surprisingly, many of them live paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt, while some single-income families quietly build wealth. This is not an accident. It is a pattern. When a second income enters a household, spending habits usually rise to match it. Bigger homes, newer cars, frequent dining out, subscriptions, lifestyle upgrades, expenses grow faster than income. This phenomenon is known as lifestyle inflation, and it is one of the most dangerous financial traps in modern society. Two incomes often create a false sense of safety. People stop budgeting carefully. Emergency funds shrink. Investment discipline weakens. Instead of using the extra income to build assets, many families unknowingly convert it into liabilities. Another hidden cost is time. Two incomes usually mean less time to manage money wisely, fewer conversations about finances, less planning, more stress. Financial decisions become reactive instead of strategic. As a teacher, I always remind my students, wealth is not about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep, grow, and control. Without financial discipline, two incomes can amplify bad habits instead of fixing them. Many dual-income households believe they are financially stable simply because money keeps coming in. But stability is not measured by income, it is measured by resilience. And this is where the invisible debt cycle begins. As a financial educator, I often meet couples who say, "We earn well, but we don't know where the money goes." This sentence is a warning sign. When two incomes enter a household, spending decisions become fragmented. One person spends assuming the other is saving. In reality, no one is. Credit cards, pay later services, car loans, and mortgages quietly fill the gap between income and inflated lifestyle. Because the income is higher, banks are willing to lend more. Debt becomes normalized, not because it is needed, but because it is available. The most dangerous debt is not the one you feel. It is the one you justify. Dual income earners often say, "We can afford it," instead of asking, "Does this build our future?" Over time, monthly obligations increase until both incomes are required just to survive. At that point, losing one income becomes a financial disaster. I have seen families collapse financially after one spouse stops working, not because they earned too little, but because their entire lifestyle was built on two salaries. What was once optional becomes mandatory. What was once comfort becomes pressure. Another issue is psychological. Two incomes reduce urgency. People delay investing. Retirement planning is postponed. Emergency funds are ignored. The belief that we still have another income creates complacency, and complacency is the enemy of wealth. As I teach my students, debt is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers through convenience, rewards, and short-term comfort. Dual incomes don't protect you from this trap. In many cases, they accelerate it. One-income households are often underestimated. Many people assume they struggle by default. But from a financial education perspective, they possess a powerful advantage: forced discipline. As an investment teacher, I've noticed that families relying on a single income tend to plan more carefully. Every expense is questioned. Every purchase is evaluated. Budgeting is not optional, it is survival. This pressure, while uncomfortable, builds strong financial muscles. When income is limited, priorities become clear. Needs are separated from wants. Emergency funds are treated seriously. Long-term planning is not delayed because there is no illusion of extra money coming later. In contrast, dual-income households often operate without financial boundaries. The presence of a second income reduces urgency. Mistakes feel reversible. Overspending is forgiven by future paychecks. Over time, this mindset weakens discipline. Discipline is the foundation of investing. It determines whether someone consistently saves, invests during market downturns, and avoids emotional decisions. One-income families, by necessity, develop this skill earlier and more deeply. Another important factor is risk awareness. Single-income households understand their vulnerability. This makes them more cautious. With debt and more committed to protection, strategies such as insurance, cash reserves, and diversified investments. I teach my students that wealth is not created by comfort. It is created by consistency. Forced discipline trains consistency, and consistency, when applied to saving and investing, compounds quietly over time. Many wealthy individuals did not start with multiple incomes. They started with clear limits, strict habits, and a long-term mindset. Those limits became their strength. One of the most overlooked factors in wealth creation is not income, it is time. As a finance teacher, I often tell my students that money can be replaced, but time and energy cannot. Dual-income households are usually busy, very busy. Two jobs mean longer hours, more commuting, and constant mental fatigue. This busyness has a hidden financial cost, poor decision-making. When people are exhausted, they choose convenience over strategy. They eat out instead of cooking. They outsource tasks they could manage themselves. They avoid learning about investing because it feels overwhelming. Over time, convenience becomes expensive. Single-income households, while not free from stress, often have more available time to manage finances intentionally. One partner may track expenses, research investments, or plan long-term goals. This focused attention compounds just like money does. Another issue is attention fragmentation. Dual-income earners frequently postpone important financial conversations. Decisions about investments, insurance, or debt are delayed because there's no time. Unfortunately, markets don't wait, and financial mistakes grow in silence. I have seen talented professionals earn high salaries, but miss investment opportunities simply because they were too busy to act. Meanwhile, disciplined households, with less income, slowly build portfolios through consistent learning and execution. Energy also matters. Wealth building requires emotional control, especially during market volatility. Burnout increases impulsive behavior. Tired investors panic faster, sell earlier, and abandon long-term strategies. As an educator, I emphasize this truth. Financial growth requires space to think. Without time and energy, even high income becomes inefficient. In the next part, we will discuss how dual incomes often create dependency instead of freedom, and why dependency is dangerous in personal finance. Most people believe that two incomes equal freedom. In reality, what I often see as a financial teacher is the opposite: dependency. When a household becomes accustomed to two salaries, the lifestyle adjusts accordingly. Expenses are structured around maximum income, not minimum survival. This creates a dangerous dependency where both incomes are required just to maintain normal life. Dependency removes flexibility. It limits choices. One person cannot easily change careers, start a business, or take time off without financial panic. What was supposed to be security becomes a cage. Single-income households, by contrast, are often built around sustainability. Their lifestyle is designed to survive on one paycheck. Any additional income becomes optional, strategic, and powerful, not necessary. In investing, flexibility is an asset. The ability to wait, to adapt, and to take calculated risks depends on having a financial buffer. Dependency eliminates this buffer. I have witnessed couples stay in unhealthy jobs and stressful environments because losing one income would collapse their finances. High income did not create freedom, it removed it. Another form of dependency is psychological. Dual income earners may lose confidence in their ability to live with less. They begin to believe that comfort requires constant income flow. This belief weakens resilience and increases fear. As I tell my students, true financial freedom is not about earning more. It is about needing less. The less you need, the more control you have over your life and investments. In the next part, we will explore how consumer culture actively pushes dual-income households toward overconsumption and why resisting it is critical to wealth creation. Modern consumer culture is built around one assumption: households have more than one income. As an investment educator, I see this influence everywhere, from advertising to financial products. Marketing does not target discipline. It targets capacity. When two incomes exist, companies assume higher spending power. Larger homes, luxury vehicles, subscription-based lifestyles, and endless upgrades are normalized and aggressively promoted. Dual-income households are especially vulnerable because spending feels justified. We both work hard becomes the emotional permission to consume. Purchases are framed as rewards rather than financial decisions. Consumer culture also redefines success. Wealth is measured by visible lifestyle instead of invisible assets. People compete silently with peers who earn similarly, reinforcing spending behaviors that destroy long-term financial growth. Single-income households are less attractive to this system. They are forced to question consumption. They delay gratification. They prioritize value over image. These habits align naturally with sound investing principles. Another danger is normalization of financing. Buy now, pay later schemes. Zero-interest installments, and long-term loans are marketed as smart money management. In reality, they transfer future income into present consumption, especially dangerous when both incomes are already committed. As a teacher, I remind my students, the market rewards patience, not appearances. Consumer culture trains impatience. Two incomes do not cause poverty by themselves. Unconscious consumption does. When higher income meets higher expectations, wealth never has a chance to grow. In the next part, we will examine how financial stress increases in dual-income households and why stress undermines investment success. One of the greatest myths in personal finance is that more income reduces stress. As a financial educator, I can confidently say that unmanaged income often increases it. Dual-income households frequently experience higher financial stress despite earning more. Why? Because fixed expenses are higher, obligations are heavier, and margin for error is smaller than it appears. When both incomes are required to pay monthly bills, there is no safety net. Any disruption, a job loss, illness, or market downturn creates immediate pressure. This constant vulnerability keeps stress levels high. Stress directly affects financial behavior. It leads to short-term thinking, emotional spending, and impulsive investment decisions. Stressed investors chase trends, panic during market drops, and abandon long-term strategies at the worst possible time. Single-income households, although seemingly more fragile, often have clearer structures. They know their limits. Their expenses are aligned with one income, which reduces uncertainty. Predictability lowers stress, and clarity improves decision-making. I have taught many professionals who earn well but feel trapped. They cannot reduce their workload, cannot invest calmly, and cannot take advantage of opportunities because their financial structure is too rigid. Stress also damages communication. Financial discussions are avoided because they feel heavy. Problems grow silently until they become crises. As I tell my students, peace of mind is an asset. Without it, even the best investment strategy will fail. Wealth grows best in environments of stability, not constant pressure. In the next part, we will discuss how strategic income design, not income quantity, determines long-term financial success. Most people focus on how much they earn. As an investment teacher, I focus on how income is designed. The difference between these two perspectives determines whether someone builds wealth or stays financially stuck. Income quantity is simple: more jobs, more hours, more paychecks. Income design is intentional: stable income, scalable income, and investable income. Dual-income households often maximize quantity but ignore design. Both incomes are active, time-dependent, and fragile. If time stops, income stops. This creates constant pressure to keep working harder just to maintain lifestyle. Single-income households that succeed financially often design their income carefully. They build systems that allow surplus to flow into investments, businesses, or assets that produce returns without constant labor. Another issue with two incomes is misallocation. Extra income is frequently used to upgrade lifestyle instead of acquiring assets. Without clear rules, higher income feeds consumption instead of compounding. As I teach my students, income should serve capital formation. Capital creates freedom. Consumption creates dependence. Designed income prioritizes a strong emergency buffer, automatic investing, low fixed expenses, scalable or passive income sources. Quantity-focused income prioritizes immediate comfort, status spending, time for money exchanges, financial fragility. Wealth is built when income is treated as a tool, not a reward. In the next part, we will explore real-life patterns and case studies showing how income strategies outperform dual-income lifestyles over time. Theory is important, but patterns from real life reveal the truth more clearly. As a finance and investment teacher, I have worked with hundreds of households over the years. The patterns are consistent. One common case is the high-income dual-career couple. Both earn well, live in a large home, drive new cars, and travel regularly. On the surface, they look successful, but behind the scenes, they have minimal savings, heavy debt, and no investment strategy. Their wealth exists only as appearance. In contrast, I have seen single, income families with modest salaries quietly build strong portfolios. Their homes are simpler. Their spending is intentional. They invest regularly, even in small amounts. Over 10 or 15 years, the difference becomes dramatic. Another pattern is resilience. When economic shocks occur, layoffs, recessions, health crises, single-income households that planned conservatively recover faster. Dual-income households, built on maximum income, often collapse quickly because their structure cannot absorb shocks. I remember a student who reduced his household to one primary income by choice. The second income was redirected into part-time consulting and investments instead of lifestyle upgrades. Within 5 years, their net worth exceeded that of peers earning far more. These outcomes are not about luck. They are about structure. Wealth follows behavior, not income level. The lesson I emphasize is this: money flows where attention goes. When income increases without structure, attention drifts toward consumption. When income is limited by design, attention shifts toward efficiency and growth. In the next part, we will bring everything together and discuss how to intentionally structure income, whether one or two, to build real, lasting wealth. After teaching investment and personal finance for many years, I can say this with confidence: wealth is rarely the result of high income alone. It is the result of intentional structure. Two incomes are not the problem. The problem is allowing income to dictate lifestyle instead of letting strategy dictate income usage. When spending rises to match earnings, wealth has no room to grow. The most successful households, whether single, income, or dual income, share the same principles. They design their lives to survive on one primary income. They treat any additional income as investment capital. They keep fixed expenses low and flexible. They automate saving and investing. They protect their time and energy. As a teacher, I advise this simple framework: build your lifestyle on one income. Build your future on the rest. If you have two incomes, use one to cover living expenses and the other to build assets. If you have one income, focus on discipline, efficiency, and long-term consistency. The outcome can be the same. True wealth is not visible. It is quiet. It shows up as choices, flexibility, and peace of mind. It allows you to say no, to wait, and to invest patiently. Remember this lesson: needing less makes you richer than earning more without control. If you understand this, income becomes a tool, not a trap, and wealth becomes intentional, not accidental.